Did you know that sound, noise, and acoustics can have a huge impact on the way we think, the way we learn, the way we share information? In the Vatican, you can see this fresco from the 16th century painted by Raphael. It is called the School of Athens. You see famous Greek philosophers sharing knowledge in an idealized setting inspired by ancient Greek architecture. Did the Greek knew the importance of architecture in relationship with sharing knowledge? I think so. What you see here is the Epidural theater in Greece, built in 350 BC, and 14,000 people can sit here. Almost everyone can clearly understand the person on the ground floor singing or speaking. And they didn't have a microphone back then. So how come? Researchers found out that the rock being used, it absorbs the lower frequencies. And in this case, that's the chatter of the people and the rushing of the leaves. So did the Greek knew? I think so. The Greek word akustikos means literally on influence of hearing. So I think that the Greek had quite some knowledge about acoustics. Almost 2,000 years later, did we use this knowledge? No, because here we see a classroom with no sound-absorbing rock. You see hard, smooth surfaces in this classroom, which means that the sound waves are reflected, bad speech intelligibility, and also because of that quite high noise levels because of the presence of a lot of children. Less children, but the same situation from a classroom nowadays, a lot of hard, smooth surfaces. So what you miss here is sound-absorbing materials to have good speech intelligibility and to lower the sound levels. And then you get one-liners, headlines like this. Children suffer in classrooms with poor acoustics. Poor acoustics influence our learning abilities and also the way we teach. That's why in 1999 the World Health Organization said this. To improve the learning process, sound levels should not exceed 35 decibels. Is that low? Is that high? Well, to give you an example, here you see a lot of sound levels. I think some you can refer to yourself. Me speaking on 1 meter distance is 60 decibels. So then you can figure out how low 35 decibels is. And then there is also the fact, when will you get hearing damage? That all depends on how long you are exposed to these noise levels. And then there's also the annoyance factor. Already from 70 decibels, you can get really annoyed. So how is it with these noise levels when it comes to education? Well, as you can see here, the average is from, let's say, 60 to above 80. The peak levels are actually quite high. Those peak levels are a big influence on our health. Because what you see here are the noise levels measured in a classroom in the morning. But what they did, they also measured the heart rate of the students. And then you see, every time a noise level goes up, also the heart rate goes up. And that's unhealthy. A very important parameter to control noise levels, to control acoustics, is the reverberation time. And here I will let you hear different kinds of reverberation times.
Many factors influence speech intelligibility. Many factors influence speech intelligibility. Many factors influence speech intelligibility. Many factors influence speech intelligibility.
So you can hear that the speech intelligibility is improving when the reverberation time goes down. To give you an example of some reverberation times, here you see an overview of reverberation times from 0.6 to 0.9 and how it affects the students and the teachers. Because students behave quite noisily in a surrounding where you have higher reverberation times. The teachers are getting quite impatient when the reverberation time is around 0.9. And the other way around, the lower the reverberation time, the more silence the students can work. So this is a classroom from nowadays, sort of how it should be. sound-absorbing ceiling, and also wall panels that eliminate horizontal reflections. If you want to use more design freedom, you can. This is also a classroom, and acoustically wise, also very good design. Especially the wall panels that you see here, very good to improve speech intelligibility. So it can be done. We started with philosophers. Let's also end with a philosopher, Confucius. He said this: silence is a true friend who never betrays. He was a scientist, a philosopher, but most of his life he was a teacher, and he knew the importance of silence. And you need acoustics, good acoustics, to achieve that. So with that, I want to end this webinar. If you have any questions, reach out to me. You can see my email address here, or to one of my colleagues. Thank you very much for your attention. Until next time.